All right, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Kenneth Price on Sunday, April 2nd, and this is going to be our Sunday Zoom call for our ministry, psychiatricsobriety.com. And this is going to be Zoom call number 71, and I'm on board with my mighty companion, beloved Grace, and there will probably be more who come on board for the next hour. This is our hour to unwind ourselves. It's our hour, basically, to do whatever it takes to emerge above the battleground of mental illness. I started this ministry about a year and a half ago. Been doing this outreach for a long time, but I formally started a ministry a year and a half ago, and we're all healing together. No, we've got to be careful with my language. We're all emerging together. Probably even more than that, we're all discovering, we're all reconnecting. We're using these relationships, we're using these Zoom calls, we're using this ministry to get reconnected together. And specifically, the focus is on mental illness because, you know, we live in a, according to Krishnamurti, to be well adjusted to an insane society is not a sign of mental health. But for those of us who come on board for this ministry, you know, we've been labeled, diagnosed as mentally ill. I was labeled, diagnosed mentally ill. I spent 25 years on countless medications, including benzodiazepines, drugs, alcohol. And I began a vision quest. I've been a spiritual seeker my whole life, you know, trying to fix myself, heal myself, heal myself. Einstein said you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created the problem, but 6 years ago, I actually said, I got to put pedal to the metal. It's actually 7 years ago where I said, I've actually got to go on a vision quest, and I've got to put this priority. And that's the key, folks. Emergence has got to be priority. It's got to be number one priority. You know, our careers can't come first. Our own mental health has to come first, or maybe I should go even further. Our own connection to source has got to come first. And when I finally, you know, broke through that priority, things began to fall in place. And the mental illnesses, you know, I was no longer a match for them. So anyway, remember, for harm reduction disclaimer purposes, and I've got it on my website, but I can't emphasize it enough when I begin each one of these Zoom calls. We're not telling anybody to get off their meds. No, that would be, no, we don't know what's best for you. I did. A lot of the people who come in here are doing that. But if that's your decision, you know, please, we're not here to give an instruction manual. We're not here to proselytize anti-psychiatry. No, we're here just to offer a new model, a model that's working for us, and to share it and extend it, because you can't keep the miracle unless you share it and extend it. So don't misunderstand the purpose of this ministry. We're not here to protest anything. We're here because it's a ministry. Love. I say every time, fear's got me into my mess, love busted me out. Yeah, I think that's pretty much how I want to I think that's the introduction I want to offer this morning. All right, ministry. What's a ministry? Is it Christian? Is it religious? No, it's not any of that. Ministry is very simple. You know, connect. You know, and fill in the blanks. I'm a 12-stepper from psychiatric sobriety. I'm a 12-stepper. So I keep this in 12-step language. 12 steps is very, very simple. It left a person to define their own higher power. I'm a Course in Miracles student. A lot of us are Course in Miracles students. And if you come in here with a different path, I'm curious and I want to know about it. And so do we. All right. Also, we bring in a lot of new age remedies too. So it's a fun hour. It's being recorded to YouTube for 1 hour. If you know, I encourage everyone to speak as much, share as much. After the hour, I turn off the recording, and so that's our format. All right, here we go. This is the healer's prayer. This is how we start off each meeting, because it's not about teaching. It's about what comes through us. It's how it works. Well, Bill W. said how it works. And the healer's prayer says that we are here only to be truly helpful, and we are here to represent him or her who sent us. And we do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he or she who sent us will direct us. We are content to be wherever he or she wishes, knowing that he or she goes there with us. My favorite part, folks, we will be healed as we let him or her teach us how to heal. All right, let me go into the let me go into the gallery view. Let's see what we got. We got Beloved. We've got Jody. We've got Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Heather. Heather's back. Jody's back. Hi. And Jody's back. We're all back. All right. Where we find ourselves. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you want to mind? What's going on? Thinking, feeling, believing.
Well, I want to comment on Jody. You posted that video about that
share with us
in the group. You know,
share with us. Remind me what the video was and share with us.
This woman had a psychotic break. She was partying too hard and working too hard. You don't know? Jody's looking like, what? It was just posted. And you said, look, go to, section part 16. That's where it starts. She was, her family committed her into the mental hospital. And, it wasn't her choice. And her experience when that happened. Anyways, Jody put a clip in there about this woman who tells that experience. And I also had a psychotic break. And, my phone call got through before his did. And so the police came, but the other people didn't come for me. So, but she talks about how, they took her and she fought like a wild animal. And, that really resonated with me because I would have probably been crazy like that if somebody took me and put me someplace and said I had to take drugs. And they just tried all these things to knock me out or calm me down. And, my story didn't go like that. I was just loose, crazy in Brooklyn. So nobody really noticed. New York just blend in with the crazy. Kenneth, laugh. It's funny. But no, I thought, the thing that I just wanted to say is, she said there should be a better way. The shamans call it a spiritual shamanic call or something. It's not, mental illness. She went, she needs to be sedated and put all drug cocktails so she can be a zombie and not figure out what's going on.
You know where I'm going to go with this, of course, and this is perfect. You brought this up because this is we get to create the new model. All right, I always bring it back to myself. I use myself as the guinea pig in this ministry, and this morning I was a guinea pig, and I want to share with the whole group, not because I'm some sort of enlightened spiritual person, but because I'm finding something that works. And it's called honesty, and it's called courage. Again, I'm here at the spiritual community. And again, I began to, it's almost becoming predictable. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to leave. All right. But so I wrote all these, they tell me to journal. I was going to write everyone letters, and it didn't feel right. It didn't, I said, it doesn't feel, so I called and I asked for help from someone who I trusted. And she's been a part of community life. And this woman is someone who I've developed a repertoire with. And she said, first of all, she started doing a little bit digging, and I started to get angry and hurt. And she said, it's okay. She said, it's safe with me. And I got even more angry, and I got more hurt. And all of a sudden, I on the phone, of course. Now, see, what had happened was, I was trying to bottle that up. I was trying to suppress that. I was trying and I just got back from North Carolina. I spent the whole 14-hour drive with Muji videos. I'm the one witnessing the one. And Muji videos are great. And that made it possible for me to get home, and I let it rip, and then I started. See, I was angry, but then I started to cry, and she said it was okay, and then I got to the projections. Then I saw, but what she was telling me that I was able to hear, she said, she said, kiddo, you're being hard on yourself again. Gently. Your little boy the little Kenny is projecting onto the other people at the ministry, and they're pushing your buttons. What they do here, they push buttons. But she made it clear. She said, and I've said this so many times, she said, they're the ones who are pushing, and I'm the one who's pulling. Let's make progress this way. It's what I'm hoping this ministry can accomplish is our courage to express in a safe container, so that nobody has to go through that. And even if they have to go through that, well, ultimately we know that's in their best possible. But we're not generally in this Zoom call. We're going to meet people where they're at. I'm not going to run up and say that's the best possible thing that could happen to you. That most people aren't ready to hear that. I wasn't ready to hear that on the phone this morning. She could have just called and said, well, you're just projecting. I couldn't have heard that. She said, just kind and gently, it's okay. And I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm using 4-letter words. She said, it's okay. Let it out. Folks, miracle. That's what it looks like. That's the work that it takes for this one man to move through and what I have called emergence. So yeah, beloved, and thank you, Jody. And by the way, all of us are doing that. And if you don't believe you're doing that, let's look at that belief, because all of us, by coming on the Zoom call, are doing it now. I started off at 12:12, one of my magic numbers. All right, I started off Sunday morning with a sermon. Who wants to go next on that sermon? Jody, I missed you. How you been? Do you want to unmute yourself? Jody, there you are.
Things have been pretty intense over here. I've been cocooning. Yeah.
Ecclesiastics. There's a time to sow. There's a time to reap. There's a time to play. There's a time to laugh. There's a time to sing. There's a time to cry.
Yeah, and a lot of this work is really personal, and it doesn't necessarily help to have it's it's quite often very beneficial to just cocoon for a little while and focus on what we're being presented with to focus on, so that we can clear it and so that we don't project it onto others.
I'm glad you brought that up, as if what I just shared was the only way. No, what I shared was guided for a Sunday morning. What you shared this is a highly individualized curriculum for all of us. There's no formula. We come here so that we can hear and find the formula that's right for us right now. We all grew up, and I don't know how many of us grew up in public schools where this is how it's done. There's a formula. No, that would be a religion, and no disrespect to religions, because the Latin word of religion is to rebind. But we are, yeah. I see a big smile from beloved.
Hello. Oh, hey, beloved.
Greg came back on.
Mm-hmm.
Heather, would you feel like sharing it all this morning? This afternoon here in Cincinnati, Ohio. You came on last Sunday, and I just want to give everyone an open forum. You got to unmute yourself. I can unmute you if you don't. There you go.
I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I'm not sure what we're supposed to say or not say, because I just joined last week. I don't know what we're supposed to, I don't know what we're supposed to say, but like the other woman said about cocooning, I feel like I've been doing that a bit, because I don't know if we're allowed to talk about symptoms, but my anxiety is just awful. And I'm not quite sure what to do about it, because it just lasts all day long. And it just, I'm angry at it, because it's just takes away from my life. And I know I'm only 10 months off, and I've been recently reading that that's only kind of like halfway, and I find that really discouraging. And I just, during my taper, I was like, go, 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 and I just pressed through, and it's so much that when it really sucked, and then I got to being off, and I was so proud of myself, and then here I am 10 months off, and I'm consumed with anxiety, and the reason why I went on that stupid medicine in the first place was anxiety. And I have PTSD and stuff like that, so it's from a lot of reasons, but I'm just angry at it. And people say breathe or do tapping or do, vagus nerve exercises or meditation, and I feel like, I don't know, nothing works for me, and I feel like a failure. Because everybody seems to have a coping mechanism that works. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm allowed to say or not, but I'm just so discouraged.
What you shared was beautiful. And I'm so grateful you're here, because you did find a coping mechanism on a Sunday. And the coping mechanism here is beloved Jody, Greg, Jenny, and Kenneth. This when we're in anxiety, the negative voices, will propensity to spiral down. And by coming on this Zoom call, you're inviting a higher level of voice that's going to spiral upwards. And I can speak, and I know Jody's going to speak to this. I hope Jody will speak to this next. That when I was coming off mine a very long time ago, this is the reason, Heather, I started this group, is I call myself a wounded healer. And I was once, it's like a 12-step program. I was once in that exact same place. And I just want to kind of get out my crystal ball and share with you that one day, you're going to have your own ministry with Hollywood Squares on the Zoom, iPad screen, and you're going to become a wounded healer too. This is part of our script, and what you're in right now is called what I've called the dark forest, and it's very frightening, and it can seem, like we're all alone. And that's the reason I started this ministry, is to share with others that I went through it, express in ways that you can see that beyond this, there's something that will germinate, which would not have come to life otherwise. And I hope that was helpful, because you're crying for, in one way, I hear you're crying for help, but even deeper than that, I hear you're crying for love. And what I want all of us to do, and I know we're all doing it already, is we're seeing what's true about you. Your voices are saying, what's not true about you. I just want to ask, can we hold what's true about you? Because we all know it. And the beloved's doing this. Yeah.
My stupid trauma stuff gets in the way of, sometimes I think too, because it just makes me think and think and think, and it just gets trapped right on my heart. I don't know how else to describe. It's just this paralyzing feeling, and it just keeps me from doing much. And I just wish I was further along, but I'm just starting to read about the realisticness of that. I'm really only just a little bit finished.
Stop it. Fucking burn that shit. It's not helpful. Fucking stop it. Stop it. Find something you want to see and believe. Stop that other shit. That is not helping you.
I think what
I'm saying? You know that. That's what you're telling us. You're telling us you want to feel good. You want to feel good. You want to have hope. That's what they told me. They said, there's no cure. They told me there's no cure for what you got. They said, I had to take medicine every day. He said, you brush your teeth every day. I said, no, that's why I don't have no teeth. You don't understand. Some of us can't do that shit. You wear glasses, don't you? No, I keep forgetting my glasses everywhere. No, I wasn't going to be compliant and take those pills like that. I just happened to have that. I couldn't do it. However, yourself is saying this. And I want to say that to all of us. I'm beating myself up, number one. I'm the only one that can do it. I'm the only one that can torture myself. I have set it up perfectly. I know just how to terrorize myself. You can't do it. I am in charge of that. None of y'all know what terrifies me. You see what I'm saying? So we got to just stop it. I'm gonna just tell you, Heather, we love it. We're gonna send some love bombs. Bam, 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 love, love, love. Light, light, light. Fuck that shit. Find something else to do. Find something else to look at.
How do you stop it though when it's just like
we don't focus on it. We just go fucking slam your toe into something and distract yourself. You know. Okay, I'm not giving any advice. Really, I'm being facetious. I'm just saying, like Kenneth said, we've been there. We've been there, and we're just saying, we're here. My hand's here, my heart's here. You're already over it. You've already told yourself what's not working. So just look and see, you know, the possibilities. Everything is possible now. We're in the speeded up. Everything's coming. Anything you ask the light for, it is given. And the time is irrelevant. Grace,
Jody, you feel
now. Grace works. Grace means God or energy source, whatever. Grace, bam. Grace don't know nothing about no time. Grace don't do that. So, bam. I'm just gonna say that. Okay.
Jody, do you feel to speak to some of this? And I'm gonna actually preface it. Heather, one of the reasons I started this ministry is that I noticed in the medically injured community, which is not a label that I came up with, and I'm not comfortable with that label. It came from Cindy Snow. They call it the medically injured community. But I think what Beloved was trying to say is the language is actually a disease within itself. And I'm not going to ghost you, and I'm not going to gaslight you and say that your experience doesn't seem real, because I was in that experience once. But I can share that the narratives, that the allopathic narratives are actually are so unhelpful. And I'm hoping Jody will speak to this. And I'm seeing a nod from her.
First of all, Heather, I just want to say thank you for showing up with your courage and your bravery. It's not easy. And so that's where I want to start. You are so brave right now. Thank you. And what you're going through is not easy. We've all been there. It's not easy. Kindness to yourself is going to be one of your biggest tools, Heather.
That's what I really struggle with.
Yeah, I know.
And it comes a lot of it from like just childhood crap too, which is all intertwined with all this, unfortunately.
I've been down those roads. And so my invite to you, Heather, is to connect with me afterwards.
Okay.
And we can discuss this. We don't discuss the kind of stuff that I want to discuss with you in this group.
Okay.
Because Kenneth has his ways of doing things and I have my ways of doing things, but I invite you, connect with me.
Okay.
And we can work through some of this stuff.
Okay.
But right now, what's important is what you're going through. It's a journey and it's not easy. And so just like relax, breathe. All of that stuff that people tell you that makes you so frustrated because you feel like it's not working, it actually is working.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what gave you the strength to show up today and do what you've done.
Yeah.
Because what you are doing is working. I know it doesn't feel like it because it's so easy to beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
And it's okay to not be okay. This journey that you're on, 10 months, wow, congratulations. It's not easy. And here you are, with all of your bravery, beauty shining. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's many, many tools that I can offer you, many things that you can do to help yourself. So please connect with me later.
Okay.
Heather, this is the way miracles work, and I share with the group at the very beginning what my miracle looked like on a Sunday morning. You know, how I was falling apart, and then had to fall apart, and then I was put back together. I was reassembled. Now, and Heather, you're so beautiful to come on here and let yourself fall apart, and then Jody's going to do. I hope it's my invitation that you can see that we're all going through this, you know, and it becomes in my world, it becomes, and you know, my coming off of those medications was a very long time ago, but I allow myself to fall apart, and it's not the trauma. It doesn't, you know, bring the trauma that it once did, that I would need to be medicated, and it's allowance. It's okay, and this is what Jody and Beloved were pointing towards. This is how we love ourselves. By ourselves, we just say it's okay to not be okay. That's just a judgment. It's beautiful. Jody's a lot more kind and, you know, soft than I am, but I'm getting softer. And Beloved's got her own, you know, vernacular, but we're all pointing to something that it's sinking in. It's beautiful to see that you're open to letting us plant these beautiful seeds so you can see it yourself. I know. You're gifting us, and I hope you can hear this. You're gifting us. You probably have the belief that we're gifting you, but beliefs in this ministry get turned upside down, or right side up, should I say?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just scared a lot. I'm scared so often. I don't want to be scared anymore.
Heather, I'm going to move on to Chris and Jenny and Greg. So stay on the call, and remember, you got Jody now. This is, and I want you to follow this trail of breadcrumbs, which is what I call it. The first one is Jody Michelle on a Sunday, you know, and this is how, you know, Spirit, you know, shows us the way to the clearing beyond the dark forest. I try and use all the metaphors I can. Dark forest through the trees, above the battleground. So hang on the call, but let me get to some of these other participants. And I want to get to Jenny next. It's been a while. Jenny will unmute herself. How you been? I see are you still in Mexico? I see you're still in the RV. I follow you on Facebook.
Hi. Yeah, we're still in Baja until next month. I wanted to say to Heather that I'm really glad you came, and I think you're really brave for talking about what you're going through. And I agree with what Jody said about it's being okay to not be okay. And it reminded me of something I experienced yesterday. I had some anxiety and fear about, and I was having a lot of physical symptoms to go along with it, like racing heartbeat and upset stomach. And it was just all surrounding because my husband, who I'm really close to, asked me for some space, and he's never done that before. And yeah, you just never know what's going to happen. So, but what I did was I got really involved in the activity that I love, which is writing. And I wrote a lot, and I explored my feelings. And in the end, I felt stronger for having the courage to not run away from the fear, but to sit down with it and see what it was really about. Because it's also stemming from childhood trauma, because I was abandoned when I was a kid. And so I'm always kind of hyper vigilant for signs that people are on their way out. But I think everything gets better with time. And I'm in a really slow process with getting off my medications. I'm just letting everything happen when the time is right. When I go back to Michigan in May, I'm going to talk to my psychiatrist then, and that's when we'll start titrating some more. And I hope to eventually be to a point where, if anything, I'm taking a medicine as needed and not daily.
Sure, Jenny, it's beautiful that you're on this group call to begin to anchor. I've said it to everyone so many times. Gosh, I wish I would have been smart enough to anchor all this spiritual, and then titrate. Would have made my slides so much. Hindsight is not going to do me any good. How you doing, Chris? What's new? Unmute yourself.
Hey, good to see everybody. Sorry I'm late. I Jody, I don't know if you were giggling at this when I took a sip.
I have the same cup.
Do you really? I mean, come on, how great is that? My wife bought those, and they're just so funny. It's just great to see everybody. Jenny, that's so sweet, and it's so great of you to share. Just writing and also bringing up relationships. Look at that! Come on.
Mine's pink inside.
Mine's green. Yeah, I think it's tough. I think this coming off of psych meds, whether you're in a relationship or single, it tests your relationships, with your friends or family or spouse or whoever's in your support, in your network. You also said something, Jenny, about just trying to, wait for the right time, or I forget the phrase you used, but if it felt like you were almost saying just trying to maybe trust in the process. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's something I'm trying to do of I'm coming up on 2 years of tapering off Paxil in April. It's April now. And, I've been struggling with feelings of, to be honest, this doubt, I guess is what you'd call it. Doubt that this voice that says maybe I should have never tapered. Maybe it would have been better if I just stayed on. It's this kind of, I think it's doubt, or it's this kind of lie, because it's been such a tough journey. I think it makes sense that there's a little voice that says, what if there was a way we could have avoided this tough journey? But I think it's all part of this journey. I also know it's there's a reason I had to come off of this. I felt so called to come off of this, and everyone I've met along this journey seems like everyone reaches a point where we have to actually dig down deep and figure out what's really going on. And so anyway, I'm just sharing this to kind of combat that little voice, because it's been creeping up. And I think it's because I'm coming up on this, this anniversary, 2 years of tapering, as if that means something, but it really doesn't mean anything other than I'm hoping and I trust that this is all an investment in my life and an investment in my future. And I don't know, Jenny, you just saying something about just trying to kind of like wait for the right time or something that resonated with me, because it feels like it also feels like kind of letting go and trusting and having faith, rather than, it's so easy in this process to try to control it, and I'm gonna fix this, or oh, I had a bad day, it must be because of this and that, and we're trying to figure everything out and get to the bottom of this, and if I just think about everything enough, and if I do enough problem solving, I'll somehow get to the end, and I fixed it, and it's almost like this kind of, I don't know, there's some kind of like cosmic riddle about it that it's like you can't fix it. You have to let go. Beloved saying, no fixing the ego mind. And that's what it is, right? Your ego coming in and just trying to fix it and get in the way, and instead of letting go and trying to trust and have a little faith. So that's where I'm at right now. And it's just great to see you all. I'm always so happy to join this group and see everybody. It just I know makes me feel better, and I hear that from everyone else too. There's something about us just getting together and just sharing and realizing that we're all kind of going through similar but different struggles, but it's helpful to come together and share, and maybe also kind of relieve some of our support group, networks, our spouses and our friends who thank God they're there for us, but it can be a lot, right? It can be a lot for them.
Chris, I wrote down notes like I think the rest of you guys take down notes often, but gosh, you threw out 3 nuggets, and maybe there's a topic in one of these nuggets. So can I regurgitate the 3 things I wrote down?
Yeah.
First
please.
thing was doubt thoughts. Perfect. Yeah, doubt thoughts. I should have never gone on this med. Maybe I shouldn't have tapered. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe. And guess what? Yes, let's expose them, and let's use the script to expose these doubt thoughts, because I drove 586 miles from North Carolina back to Cincinnati, Ohio, and I spent the whole time listening to Mooji. if you're able to notice the doubt thoughts, could they possibly be you? I mean, I have to reprogram my brain with Mooji, because he's the one who's finally been able to explain. I mean, he's fine with it all. He goes, well, let's just start from the beginning. So you're noticing doubt thoughts. So who's the one who's noticing the doubt thoughts? Again, I just listened to him, and I see, this guy's onto something. And Heather, I hope you could hear this too. If there's any tool that I can inject, Heather, would simply be what I just shared is Mooji, because he's not into healing people. He's into asking a fundamental question, which is going to germinate that seed that we all have inside of us. Maybe a little bit, avant-garde, because I talk metaphysically. But anyway, I got off topic. Chris, thank you for bringing up the doubt thoughts. The second thing that you brought up, Chris, was that you were called, or I'll use my own language. You were guided to a little voice in you, a little alarm clock went off and said, time to taper the medicine. Now, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I had Slava Hoffmeister on this Zoom call probably about a year ago. Maybe it was over a year ago, so she could give her testimony specifically on how she was guided by, fill in the blank. She actually received specific guidance. She actually received taper schedules, and I wanted that documented for this ministry. So that's what I tell everybody in the beginning. We don't tell anybody to get off their meds, but if that little voice inside is providing a nudge, we are building a container to respond to that inner nudge. Okay. The third thing you brought up was I keep repeating myself. You're right, Chris. My intellect can't fix this. And now I'll bring in a little bit of an avant-garde topic. Is anybody following, the advent of, what is it, GPT-4? Now we've got OpenAI and chatbot. And so now everyone's getting serious, about AI. Well, the dangers of AI, the dangers of AI. Well, what is our ego? Our ego is artificial intelligence. It's not real. Everyone's frightened of AI, and it's like, I'm just like, say, well, if you're frightened of it, turn off your device. I wish it were that simple. I wish we could just turn off the ego. But if you really want to come down to it, that voice that says, that's number one, Chris, is generating all those doubt thoughts, and it's trying to fix itself. So it's a circuitous loop. That's where my mental illness came from. I was trying to fix it inside of the computer. To step back, reprogram. I don't think reprogramming. I'm trying to say it a different way. All right, my friend Dale Blackford. He's not been on this call, but he's been on the 12-step to the Course in Miracles calls. He was the first one to explain it to me. The ego is trying. The ego trying to fix the ego is like the character in the painting trying to paint his way out of the painting. And that metaphor was something I was able to hear when I was coming off of my K, it was 14 years ago, something like that. And he said, Kenneth, you're the painter. You're the one painting on the canvas. There are all these metaphors. Jody's really good with these metaphors. The Beloved's really good. But that's where my mental illness, the character in the movie trying to fix the character in the movie. And when I do inquiry work, I with people, I invite them to notice that we're the ones in the theater watching the movie. This may not make sense, and it may not provide an instant fix right now, but when we're willing to entertain that we're the ones watching the one on the movie screen, it creates a crack, where a single ray of light can penetrate a ray of light of truth, and that crack can only get larger and larger. And that's what I love about this community is we're if I just went to that and mentioned that at a family dinner table, they would say, well, that's nice. Well, that's nice. That's sweet. Can you pass the mashed potatoes here? But when we're in this place where we're scraping what we believe to be bottom, our willingness is so accelerated that the angels, and I'll go back to some of my earlier language, the angels are thrilled. They hang out, and Heather, please hear me when I say this. The angels hang out where there's suffering. They don't hang out, when things are going good, they don't really have much of a purpose. But Heather, trust me, when it's basically, mine was footprints in the sand, if you know the parable. When I was so down and so frightened and so lonely and so scared and so distraught, I was suicidal. That's where my miracles were. That's where the miracles are to be found. I don't host Zoom calls for people who are doing, I'm doing well, I'm manifesting, and I want to make more money. That's all, no. This is my community. It's the reason Jesus hung out with the tax collectors and the prostitutes. Not because he was a good person. He knew they were ready for the transformation. And Heather, if you can hear anything I'm saying, this morning, this is where transformation can be found. I know that's not a script which we heard at the family dinner table. That's not a script which came from public education. That's not a script which is on the evening news. It is a script which is very sacred to mystics and way showers and prophets. I'm not. You think I wanted to ever become any of that? Shit, fuck no. Bachelor's in finance, master's in architecture. I didn't want anything to do with. But I tell you, coming off, getting slammed by those meds and having to come off all those meds made a believer out of me. And if you want to go to my website, I got a miracle story to prove it with tangible proof. In addition to a couple of near-death experiences, I'm preaching. All right, it's Greg's turn.
My turn.
Your turn. We got 15 minutes left. So where have you been at, buddy?
Oh Lord. I don't know. I guess the last thing I did was trying to find out more about how Ayurvedic medicine can help with kidney disease. Seems pretty promising. I would like to see the proof, but it's definitely something that can work. I talked to a naturopath and an Ayurvedic doctor who had 30 years of experience with it. He lives in San Jose, so pretty dedicated. I'll be addressing that one day. Homeopathic is very promising. And at the same time, I'm just trying to figure out my own spirituality. And I guess come out of this in the better. I want to come out of this in a better way. So there's a lot of unknowns. And I expect that, that I'll have another year of probably a lot of growth, a lot of, transformation. And that means a lot of work. But I guess I'm doing pretty well. Me and Jody do a lot of work. A lot of what I've gone through is about relationships with people, relationships with institutions like healthcare institutions, relationships with society as a whole. That's a lot of what my story is about. And really just trying to be positive about it, trying to, like you address, Kenneth, reframe all this and rethink it and have a better attitude. But I'll say this, still it's sort of it's still a bit of a roller coaster for me. It kind of goes from despair to hope a lot. It's a little bit up and down still, because there's so much hope now. And at the same time, I've been through so much and there's so much to resolve at the same time. So I guess that's mainly what I'm going through. And Jody's helped me. Jody's the best. Jody's got it all together. I'm going to put her on that huge pedestal up there. Joking. But yeah, so I think things are going well. Still, but I guess I'm trying to, just waiting to excel with that kidney problem. There's supposed to be hope out there, and I'm doing my research, and I don't know. Somebody told me, I said the proof is in the pudding, and a friend told me, he said, no, the proof is not in the pudding. The proof is in the taste of the pudding. So I would like to taste that pudding, but I do know that, the allopathic is a lie. So I don't listen to much of that. But when going into alternative therapy, I'm learning that you really do have to watch out for yourself because, you have to do your research. You have to figure out what's snake oil and what's, real. And you also have to, I don't know, it takes a lot of work. Alternative medicine is not handed to you, like a pill is. So it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of, it just takes a lot to heal and to grow. I don't know. I guess that's me. I guess that's what I'm going through.
The part I heard loudest was the roller coaster.
Huh?
It's like that cartoon that I did. I could maybe I'll make that the topic. Maybe Greg, I think you found the topic for the Zoom call. It's a roller coaster, and you see it as a roller coaster. We can allow the fun and thrill of it all. Does somebody else want to speak? I was going to get back to Beloved because I'm trying to do the full circle here. But if somebody wants to speak to that.
I would like to just touch quickly on what Greg finished with, that this journey, this healing journey, is hard work. What about living in hell? Like, how fucking hard is that?
Mm-hmm.
I once had somebody accuse me, just not too long ago, I was on this path that was really quite intense. I was with a Tao grandmaster who taught me how to transform every aspect of my life, and it was intense. The journey, that healing journey, yes, it's intense, but You know what was way more intense? Living in fucking hell. Being in the mental health system for 13 years, being
Yeah.
polydrugged for 10 of those years,
Mm-hmm.
not being in control, being so fucking afraid,
Mm-hmm.
that was intense.
Yeah. It's
And
well
I'll
worth
take
it.
this intensity over that intensity
Yeah.
every fucking day of the week.
Yeah.
Pardon my language.
Mm-hmm.
Life is intense. It's
Mm-hmm.
what you choose to do with it that
Mm-hmm.
matters.
Well, yeah, let's kind of get this back out a little bit and touch on what Jody said. Remember, I bring in disciplines, anything that works, and remember, we've got a lot of new age channelings out there by off-planet entities who have all come and shared with us the very same message. They said, planet Earth is, I mean, that is the graduate school of all graduate schools for soul assignments. They said, you guys picked the mother of all soul assignments.
And this time is crucial.
This time
is crucial for the light. We're here for a higher purpose. That is what we're called. It's already done. It's becoming into alignment with it. And we all know what we need to do. It's hard work, yeah. And like Jody said, what's the alternative? There's only two choices here. Fear, love. Hell, heaven. Hopeful heaven. There's only two. It's not complicated. I love that. I need only two choices. I get confused with a lot of shit, So
we'll get right back. I want you to keep going, beloved. I always want to hear where you're going, but I just want to go real quickly. I felt kind of remember, Heather, that by coming on this call, you remember which one you've chosen. And I just want to remind you, Heather, you're getting sucked up into a healing tractor beam. And a healing tractor beam is not going to make us feel it's going to get us better. Heather, notice, and that's why I record these, because notice what Beloved and Jody are gifting you with. I don't know, how do you do it? You do that or something? I don't know. All right, I don't. They're doing it, but I just want to provide some encouragement. Then we'll go back to Beloved. Healing is not going to give us the unicorns and rainbows. Healing is going to give us mighty companions. It's going to give us way showers. It's going to give us tools and resources, support, courage, and strength. Now, it may be painful, but we're going to say, it's going to say, it's going to, with the moment Popeye eats his spinach, I am what I am. That's all what I am, and I'm going to pick up my mat and walk. And then we are just showered and graced with synchronicities, and they call them miracles. And you're already, by coming on this call, Heather, you've already said yes. So fasten your seatbelts. It is a roller coaster. Now I'm done pontificating. We're going to use the last 5 minutes for Beloved because she loves it.
But go ahead, Greg.
Go, Greg. Me? I can go. Okay. I've discussed this with Jody and before, but one thing I try not to do is give advice and just give people the dignity and room that they can fix them. They can heal themselves. But Heather, one thing that worked for me, I don't know, I beat up on myself bad and I still do it somewhat, but is I had to make a difference that, understand the difference between giving myself tough love, which I don't react to. Some people do, but between that and gently encouraging myself. So I don't know about you, Heather, but tough love doesn't work for me. I've done it to myself and other people have done it to me and it didn't work. It was just encouraged a lot of self-neglect. But be good to yourself, be easy on yourself. And there's a difference between a gentle reminder that you're going to make it and just being a hard ass to yourself. That's just one thing I had to learn to differentiate, and I'm not an expert at it, but I'm starting to see that there is a difference between those two things. But I won't fix you anymore, Heather, but I just thought about that. So, and you're going to make it. This is a book that you might want to look into. The Law of Attraction. Oh, it's backwards, so you can't read it. The Law of Attraction. Abraham Hicks. He's my
Greg,
next pony. So
I touch on that real quickly because I want something else archived. And I'm glad you brought that up because Sean Nelson hasn't been on this call for a while, but he's one of the members of this ministry. And he put it to me bluntly this week. He said, stop trying to fix people. Not his exact words, but he said, Kenneth, your job is to see them as whole and complete already. Your job is to see what's true about them already. He was like shaking me, wake up. And I said, oh my God, I forgot. So this is exactly what you touched on, Greg. You know, I keep bringing this point home over and over and over. You know, the old model and the new model. The old model is what's wrong, let's fix it. Well, the reason we got mentally ill was nothing was going wrong in the first place. We were trying to fix something. Now, I know from our limited perception, societal perception, they said, this is what it should look like, this is what it should look like, this is what it should look like. Listen, it's 2023. We've blown the lid off of all societal perception. And by now, if you haven't realized, the lid's getting blown off collectively. We don't know what it's supposed to look like. And actually, that's not true. We know what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like this right here, right now. This is what it's supposed to. And I'm trying to use the last 3 minutes, you know, I'm only reminding myself that it can be applicable for all of us. It's supposed to look like this. And if we can settle into that truth just long enough, you know, it creates another one of those cracks where the light gets in. It took me, you know, I'm going to be 56 on Wednesday. You know, we're all kind of to the point where we realize this world doesn't work. We've tried everything. We've even tried fixing it. It doesn't work. And we realize the moment we kind of, and it's like that Facebook post, you know, it's not quitting. We can't quit. We got to surrender. I know it's a Zen koan, but it took a Zen koan for me to finally to be with it long enough for the boom, you know.
You've got a message, Kenneth. You've got a message.
Well,
you've got a good message. You got a lot of truth.
If anyone can hear it, because it was at that moment, and then I realized this was the same moment that you know, Byron Katie, Eckhart Tolle, they all had this moment of collapse that was brought on because of their suffering, not in spite of their suffering, but because of their suffering. You see, something's not going wrong, something's going very, very right. All right, there. That's the end of my pontification for Sunday, April 2nd. We only got 2 minutes left. Does anybody have any closing statements? We'll keep the Zoom room open, but I went on a winded diatribe. But I truly, Heather, I hope you can. I want this especially for Heather. You know, you're basically the newcomer in the room, and I record these so you can play it back, because if any of that was helpful, you know, this can replace that old looping narrative, which all of us discovered simply didn't turn out to be true. We all had that narrative, and upon emergence, none of our fears came true. None of our fears came true. And that's
mine.
Go ahead. I want you to wrap this up for us, because you're the most important person on this call.
No, I'm not, but thank you. So my dad died. That was one of my worst fears come true. And my family all pretty much abandoning me. That all came true. And that nothing.
Okay, these are some of the narratives that you and Joni are going to join on. And I know right now they feel true. And you and Joni are going to join on the "my family abandoned me" narratives. Because there's something truer. And underneath that, it's fine. I had those narratives true, but there's a truer narrative underneath that has the potential for a pop. And Jodi's going to help you find it.
Yeah.
You're beautiful, sweetie. We love you.
Thank you.
And you're going to see inside of yourself what all of us are just so thrilled to get to see. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
This is Kenneth Price, and this is Sunday, April 2nd, and this is our 71st Zoom call for the ministry. I'm not hosting this ministry. You know, Spirit's hosting this ministry. I just get to, you know, mouth words. And we've been here with beloved Jodi, Greg, Jenny, Heather, and Chris. And please, if you're watching this on YouTube, I only get about 40 hits per video. But leave your comments below. I'm going to leave the link to the website, psychiatricsobriety.com, in the description line. And come on board 9 a.m. Sunday morning. And what's the tagline for this ministry? Krishnamurti. To be well adjusted to an insane society is not a sign of mental health. You're all going to be fine. I love you. Thank you for letting me host. God bless. And let's see, how do I turn this video off?
I am